talking about building a formidable family. I want to start a series which I call The 5 Pillars You Need in a Family. The 5 Pillars of a Formidable Family. We'll see how far we can go with it, but I'm starting that series today. So stick around and join me as we look at the details. The 5 pillars for a formidable family. You know, pillars are strong beams erected at the corners of a building to give it a solid grip, a strong grip, and the pillars help the building to stand firm. Every family needs to ensure the pillars are firm and that they are well positioned. You need to ensure that the pillars are well positioned. The truth is that the storm will always come to test if your family have the pillars in place and if the pillars are firm. You see that? The storm will come to check your family to see if these pillars are in place or if they are firm. Because it is one thing for the pillars to be there, it's another thing for the pillar to be firm. So, how do you do that? What are these pillars? And how do you put them in place in your family? And maybe you are wanting to get married. What are these pillars? And how do you set them up in the family to ensure that your family is formidable? Listen, the times are past when those fairy tales we read in the story and they got married and lived happily ever after. No, life is not designed that way. When you get married, there is definitely going to be the ups and the downs. You're going to disagree. You're going to have misunderstandings. It's going to happen as long as you are human. Your emotions sometimes will be up and sometimes it's going to be down. But if these pillars are in place, it helps your family to be strong and wade against every storm that comes its way. I just list them for you. Number 1 is understanding. Understanding. Number 2, tolerance. Tolerance. Number 3 is love. Love. And number 4 is sacrifice. Sacrifice. And finally is cooperation. Cooperation. Now, understanding will give birth to tolerance. And where there is tolerance, it is easy to express love. And where there is love, everyone sacrifices. And where there is sacrifice, there is cooperation. You know why? Because you will always give way for the others to manifest. And that is cooperation. But let's take it one after the other. Understanding. Understanding is a choice. Yes. Understanding is a choice. It's your ability to comprehend and understand what it is in a situation, to comprehend what a situation is. That is understanding, and it is a choice. Understanding is deliberate. In a family, you need to be able to understand. You need to choose to understand, and then you need to be deliberate. Because if you're not deliberate, you can't understand. If you don't make an effort to understand your spouse, if you don't make an effort to understand your husband, you cannot understand them. If you don't make an effort, you cannot understand. So stop crucifying your spouse and stop making him or her feel bad about situation. What you need to do is understand. Understand him. Understand her. I've said it when we had the series on character, when we were dealing with the power of influence many Fridays ago. I did say that we need to learn ourselves. When you get married, you need to understand that your spouse will be acting and behaving on 3 cardinal points. 1, the foundation of their character. 2, the experience they have based on people around them. 3, the influence they have, the character they have adopted. Remember, we have character that are inherited, we have character that are adopted, and we have character that is born out of influence. Now, in the end, these are who we are. This is what we become. And when we get into the homes, they come up. Now, except you choose to understand, you will continually get into argument. You will continually get into loggerhead with your husband and with your wife. Understanding is the springboard on which forgiveness bounces to rise to the maximum height. Understanding. Now, when things happen in your home, your wife, your husband, one thing or the other happens, without understanding, you will find it very difficult to forgive. You will find it very difficult. You will almost not be able to forgive. Without understanding, situation hurts you to the bone marrow. Without understanding, issues that happens around you ties you down, glues you into a state of hardness, and you will want to react. Understanding is a springboard on which forgiveness bounces to rise to maximum height. If you fail to understand, you cannot forgive. To understand, you must wear the cloth of patience. Yes. You know, we are talking about the pillar of the pillar that ensures a formidable family. And one of the pillars is understanding. And remember I said, understanding is a choice. And to understand, you must wear the cloth of patience. Because if you must understand what someone is saying, you must be patient to hear them. You must be patient to understand what they are saying from the beginning. The problem we have is that we are so quick to analyze, quick to judge, quick to conclude. As a result, we don't understand. And when we don't understand, we cannot forgive. You need to be patient. Never assume you know the details. Never conclude you know why the people are acting the way they do. Never conclude in your mind that things are the way they are because the other person refuses to act the way they are supposed to do. You need to sit down, be patient and listen. Be patient and wait for them to come around. Listen, your spouse just went out of the house and you already jump into conclusion. You picked up a phone or the phone rang and you saw a name on the phone. You didn't even take the call. You don't know who the person is. And you've jumped into conclusion. You saw your spouse standing with somebody, maybe the opposite sex, and you are over there. You just jump into conclusion. Can you be patient and listen? Can you be patient? Be patient so that you don't ruin your family. If you are quick to judge, you will often end up with the wrong judgment. Without patience, every action is a reaction, and reactions never settles scores. Only response does. Reactions never settle scores. Remember, if you are quick to judge, you will often end up with the wrong judgment. To have understanding, you must wear the cloth of patience. You want to understand? Can you be patient with yourself? Can you be patient with your spouse? Let the process come through. Let them think through. Let them explain themselves. Listen to me. It takes patience to listen, especially when you are feeling hot. It takes patience to listen. Be patient so all will be clear. Be patient. Be patient. If you want everything to be clear, be patient. Be patient so you can see the clear picture. There is no way you would understand if you are not patient. So be patient. Understanding is not spontaneous. It never happens in a rush. It is like the morning. It shows up as the darkness fades out. Patience makes you calm, and it takes a calm mind to understand a matter.